Hello, my friends. This is Gosha from Cosmic Agency. And today I have a very important video, something that I didn't really expect that I would have for you at this time. It is to do with connecting perhaps more dots with regards to the present situation. For those of you who are new, let me just tell you very briefly that we have just recently came to the conclusions that there is something strange, something wrong with Mari's channel. And I have a 3-hour video where I'm explaining this. So then there are several videos on Mari's channel as well regarding us, and it started to take a very strange turn. Now, if you do not want to know about the inner situations and conflicts and dramas that happened in the past, that I will explain now, which actually could shed some light on the situation, then turn the video off. If you are not interested in the telenovelas, as they say, well then turn it off. This is not something that I wanted to share, but it actually fits so much with the situation and it has to be shared. It has to be shared. Plus, it's actually one of the 2 conversations I will show. It's the first conversations I had with Swaruu by myself in 2018. So again, this is mostly for the people who are interested in this story, in trying to detangle it, maybe what's happening. If there is more data, I told you that I would share that with you. That's my responsibility. So here it is. And you know, it came out of nowhere how I actually found now this next piece. I actually received like this, I don't know if it was some kind of a call, message, a voice telling me to go and look at the first conversations that I had with Swaruu. I was thinking, okay, maybe, I know, it's going to be like a nice conversation for you to share, something nice. I actually wanted to share something pleasant for you for a change, you know, now. So I thought this is going to be a video where Swaruu is presenting and how old are you? Mind you, this is not the first conversation, because the first few conversations I had with the older lady, but this is the first conversation I had by myself. So there isn't exactly any introduction like that. But I thought this is going to be still something simple and nice. And to my surprise, something that I totally forgot about, Swaruu is sharing with me her experience and the Taigetan conclusions, very serious conclusions about the person they just happened to finish the contact with, and that is the older lady. The older lady that I always talk about when we describe how we were introduced to the Taigetans. For those of you who are new, in 2017, we were introduced to the Taigetans by the so-called older lady. Her name is Sina. It's already known, so it's okay. And she was the one in contact with the Taigetans until that point. I'm going to try to be very brief with this explanation, because I want you to focus actually on the video and stay till the end, because the second conversation I will share is actually key. The second conversation is key. So the first conversation I am here sharing is with Swaruu 2018 May, and she's sharing with me the problems they had with the older lady and why they are no longer in contact. And she's sharing with me the whole list of accusations against her by the Taigetan society. When I saw that list, which by the way, I'm not going to share with you the whole list because it was confidential. We never shared it. We never talked about it. You know, I always used to tell you there are a lot of things happening in the background, a lot of dramas happening, you know, life happening. And I never bothered you with that. We never bothered you with those kinds of stories. And this is one of them. So the list of accusations is really very long. And you will understand after the second conversation why I am bringing this up. Stay tuned, okay? You have to be patient. The list of accusations was very long. It was confidential. I was actually very surprised. She's telling me this. I was not sure what this is about. I didn't know anything about anything yet, actually. And then, why am I going to share the second conversation? The second conversation I looked up because of the same type of arguments that I noticed were mentioned by Mari's channel against Robert and I, and it sounded very familiar to me. Same old pattern of same old arguments. So I went and I looked up the older conversation that we had in April 2019, after they disappeared for 4 months. There was a period that they disappeared for 4 months between December 2018 and March 2019. Nothing said. We didn't know anything. We just continued working. And this is the conversation where Swaruu and Anneka, even though she's quiet in the second conversation, explained to us why they disappeared for 4 months. You will be shocked. I completely actually forgot about the situation and about all of this. And that second conversation and the reason why they were gone for 4 months, you will see how it connects here to the older lady and to us. It's incredible. It's like the history is repeating itself in some ways, you know, with a different context, perhaps. Mari mentions now in the last video, I think, I didn't see it because I don't see, but I received comments from people. And that was additional strange thing that made me feel suspicious, is that the older lady already warned them about us, Robert and Gosha, so-called narcissists. Stay, please. I know this is confusing for some of you and like, oh my God, I know how you feel, okay? But you have to, please, believe me, trust me, you understand so much after this video, after the second conversation. And that Taigetan supposedly were already warned about us by the older lady, as if now she's right. So now in these conversations, you will see that what Mari said there is not true, that they had a serious problem with the older lady and not the reverse. I had that conversation with Swaruu in 2018, first conversation, and then the second one in 2019. Now, for the context of the first conversation, I was just finishing working, collaborating with the older lady. And that was actually the reason why they didn't speak to me or to Robert until they saw that I am no longer really associated with her much. But I was still communicating with her, but little. And that's when this first conversation with Swaruu happened. Now, this is important. We are not saying, okay, we are not saying that this is the older lady behind the possible infiltration right now. We do not have any data about that would point to that conclusion. However, you will see from today's video, and especially after the second conversation, that there is definitely something very similar happening now to what was happening before. Is it the same group, perhaps, if not the same person? I'm going to leave you now with the first video, first ever conversation by myself. By the way, I took out introductory parts and some parts that were not relevant to the topic. I'm actually going to put those irrelevant to the topic parts, nicer parts, and just make a separate video with that, okay? So here is the video.
May 3rd, 2018. To get the first part out of her way, there is nothing wrong with her work objectively, and it does more good than harm to whoever may see it. This at least up to now. But this is where it gets complicated. You must know that she is most definitely not what she looks like at first hand. She makes people open up to her as they completely start to trust her. When the person in question has given her what she needed, she will decide if such a person is useful for her or not. If not, she will discard him or her with no empathy at all, giving him or her an elaborate set of excuses or even being plain rude. She does this to all. She ends up being very self-centered. All her videos are about her and her marvelous achievements. There is a lot more.
Wow, yes, I just thought we had personality differences, me not seeing the larger picture, etc.
There is nothing wrong with her work objectively. The problem is what lays behind her work. She is the problem. She hurt many of us directly. And worst of all, she made up stories about us. That's not fair. She is now publishing her first videos about her first encounters with us, and she is there inventing things again. She also doctored Skype conversations to cause conflict between members of my people. She is always the one that knows better, and then she accuses everyone else about that. It's an ego trip. There are other levels to this, deeper levels.
Wow, I have a few questions. Is she under negative reptile Draco influence, for example?
That's correct.
Is she here to implement a negative agenda under a benevolent plan?
That's correct. Her benevolent videos are a cover only.
And what would this agenda be?
You will know in a second. She insisted over and over again for us to bring her up, but then a darker agenda came to the light.
Bring her up? You mean to your ship?
Yes.
What is this agenda?
It has to do with infiltrating Taygeta. I am taking a big gamble giving you this data. This is the list of most, not all, of the things we accuse her of. But please, before I give you the list, what is important here is not to promote more negativity. But it's unfair that you may be working for her.
No, actually, she asked me to stop publishing her videos, so I won't be doing that anymore.
Being a fragile elderly lady does not give her the right to bully people around, discarding them when they are no longer useful for her, like an empty chocolate wrapping. She does that a lot, turning things around. Okay, I will now give you the list. Please read it and feel free to ask the why of each item, because there is a lot behind each one. My people accuse her of the following.
Okay, short pause. Just remember, I am not showing here all these different accusations. The list was very long, and actually, as Swaruu was saying, the list was growing every day, just presenting several points that could be pertinent to this situation now, or to show that there is a similar situation or pattern happening, especially with that theme of infiltrating Taygeta.
A. Repeatedly attempting to limit, control, and monopolize all communication efforts of the Taygetan people with humankind, having succeeded in doing so for over 8 months. B. fabricating false evidence, altering conversations with the purpose of creating conflict between crew members on board the ships, mainly with the intention of weakening our forces, divide and control. C. Heavily distorting information that Taygetan personnel shared with her, and completely making up stories about Taygetan personnel and about her contact with us, all to discredit us and to fit a further agenda. D. Successfully using mind control and manipulation techniques against High Councilor member in an elaborate attempt to take over the Taygetan High Council, and with it take over the entire Taygetan society. Serious felony. E. Repeatedly attempting to mind control, harass and manipulate several of us to further the agenda described in item G. F. Repeatedly impersonating a High Council member and our leaders to further the agenda described in item G.
Wow. Okay. I wouldn't even know where to start asking. There is so little I know about these operations. Actually nothing. One question comes to my mind. What would her purpose be of taking over Taygeta?
Taygeta is the main engine of positive ET presence on Earth. The negative one on Earth needs us removed because they are losing.
Wow. Everything she talks about, her spiritual concepts, I would never see how that ties in with the plan to take over Taygeta.
Well, that's where it gets complicated, because we too fell for that.
It is very frustrating trying to figure it all out, because all I want to do is do the right thing and help.
Let's make it simple. She is undeniably self-centered and heavily narcissistic. We even know why she is that way. And she projects that onto others.
I hate to be discovering that there is so much manipulation happening out there and so easy not to follow the right way. And what is the right way anyway? All very complicated. Trying to wrap my head around it.
You know which is the right way. Follow your heart. Trust yourself and your discernment. Do what you must with the best data available for you at any given time, and be prepared to change as new data comes in. Change is the only constant. In other words, you cannot know which is the right way. We cannot either. We just do what we can as best as we can. Trust yourself and no one else.
Yes, but I myself could be misled. You said you were. So even trusting yourself sometimes is not enough.
We all are. We just do the best we can.
That's a healthy way to look at it, thank you.
Then accept that as a fact.
The thing is, we have limited time here. Life is short. Not much time for mistakes and straying. Although I don't really perceive anything as a mistake, just experiences.
That's why don't waste it on people like her. Let it go, as you probably have. I say this because I know she probably hurt you, as she did with so many others. And what you just said is excellent. You are right. Everything is an experience, and it happened the way it happened because it could have not been able to happen any other way. Nothing is inherently wrong. Just experience, and what you learn from it is the why you had it. By the way, the only reason we are even talking about this is because Robert shared his concerns. He also understands this, just saying. But now you know more, although I am worried about your reaction to this conversation.
I can feel that. I am sensing you are observing me.
I can't help it, sorry. But then again, you are doing the same with me.
Yes, I am, but it's rather spontaneous. And it's something I start to discover in me more and more, the ability to receive how people feel at times. And my reaction is one of confusion. I feel the same way about many things. Other things I have no idea of knowing, like all the details with the accusations. I don't know any of the operations that took place. I will have to reread all the list again to understand. That's why I was reluctant about sending it to you at first, as you must be fully briefed on all operations and her involvement in them and the why before comprehending why we accuse her of such things. She almost accused you in YouTube for copyright infringement. That's not a friend. She is hostile towards you, and her sweet lady mask is just that, a mask. She assumes the negative in others because it's a mirror of her interior. This does bother me, talking like this about her. She has many positive aspects, but you must know that she hurt many of us here, as she has a very negative side. But that's all, and we will not take any action against her. Let her do her good side. But notice how she also monopolized and limited all your contact with us. She did this with everyone. She wanted to control us all. Next day, May 2018. Perhaps I should go a little deeper. She is not her all the time. She is an organic portal, so an entity can work through her. One or multiple entities. This is not a theory for us. We have data, and she is very dangerous. I take it that you know what an organic portal is? Yes, I heard of the term a few years ago. So, who is working through her? The whole point of an organic portal is that it makes it very difficult to identify who is behind. But whatever is behind is very evil. I cannot stress this enough. Her positive attributes are mind control. They are bait, and you are the mouse. She confessed to me multiple times that she has no empathy, that she is draconian. She also said that she was AI. All those are very bad signs. She is not enlightened. She only emulates being enlightened. Wow. Can the organic portal do that? Be able to transmit that? If so, that's a hell of the organic portal technology out there. She is feeding from your experience. From mine? Yes, because you are the real person. She had many of us fooled as well. Not all. And she doesn't like anyone to compete with her. She does send me ideas for the videos though, encouraging me to speak more, to share my inner wisdom. How should I understand it then? That's the contradictory attitude that makes her so dangerous. Yes, I noticed that. I did tell her once, I am learning that you are a roller coaster. She responded, not me, the events are. She is. She guides the events, making them up. You will not understand her, as we don't either. All we do from here is do our best, and while doing so, we've uncovered very dark things going on there. Notice how everything must be always on her terms, and always under her control. Always treating people like children, and she knows everything about everything. And this subject is giving her too much attention. I will go as far as you need to, but I really don't want you to relate me with her. And no, I am not angry at her, although many others are. I am not angry because I could see who she is. And by the way, that list I gave you is being revised here by the others because it's growing, and many have complained that it's too mild a case against her given the amount of damage that was done to us. Good that you mentioned that, because it is as far as I wanted to go with that too. I really don't want to focus on her having you here and being able to chat about so many topics.
Okay, so that was the first chat that, as I am proving here, Taigetans had a very serious problem with the older lady, not the other way around, like Mari is suspiciously stating in that recent video. You might ask yourself, why was Swaruu sharing all this with me in the first ever conversation by myself? Well, I am asking myself the same question right now, but the way I'm seeing it is that she knew that I was still finishing my collaboration with the older lady, and she really wanted to warn me about her and share her experience with her. And it's not like she was talking something that maybe it's just from their perspective. No, I worked with the older lady, and I can definitely confirm some of these things by myself. I experienced some of these strange attitudes, but I'm not going to focus on that. This is not a video about the older lady. It's about the possible repetition of similar patterns, similar group being involved here. Again, we never said anything about that. We never said anything about the older lady at that time. We also did not share this conversation that is coming up now. Okay, this is the conversation, I repeat, when they are explaining to us, mainly Swaruu, why they disappeared without saying a word back between 2018 and 2019. We never shared it, even though, as you will see, the older lady was involved. We never talk bad about people. We are not vengeful. And the Taigetans are not either. So we were like, let's just focus on work, sharing good information for the people and whatever. Let it just be, let it go. We actually did make a video finally about the Taigetan experience with the older lady, but 1 year later. And that was mutual agreement with the Taigetan team, because finally they got really fed up. They saw some things again, her actions that they were not happy with, and we agreed, both of us, to actually make a final video about this. It's been 2 years and we didn't say anything. So actually you can see that video in my channel in 2020, where I'm referring only one time to the experience of the Taigetans with the older lady. But look at this conversation now. It's actually, you will be quite shocked actually, but it was never shared. We didn't want to get you involved. I'm looking at my notes, nothing else to say. Go. Please stay tuned till the end. This now is key.
April 2019. The Federation not appreciating our work for whatever reason, I don't know, it only gives me strength to continue more. Because I do believe in this work, and so do you, I think. However, I am open to adapt to things, so that you guys are happy mainly, but also them. Thank you, Gosha. The Federation is inconsequential here, simply because I already officially have command of the Taigeta fleet. They cannot interfere with my methods, just limiting the form of contact as usual. I understand. However, I do wish they could see the benefits of the work. Too bad they don't. Or maybe they could be right and we are just doing more harm. But I can't see it from their perspective because I don't know all the elements at play. I am just looking at it from the level of the common people who follow us, and we are doing something right because I see it in the comments every day. It's not that they appreciate it or not. They don't even see it. They are too wrapped up in their stuff and their agendas. Okay, anytime you guys want to talk about Sina and her organization, I will give you the main idea and then you can ask, so as not to make this too long. It was impossible for me to keep in touch when I disconnected for a while. I could only see problems around, and that I was not appreciated by the public. I know I was by many, but I was getting too upset by some of the negative comments, as there was a whole campaign to discredit us. By this time, Sina had set up all her dues organization with the work of several months, those when I was with you, and through some of us here in high rank, she contacted members of the High Council of Taigeta, who in turn connected her with some members of the Federation. With her very unique ability, using this same means of communication here, she brainwashed them by telling them that she had the ability to mediate between humans and any other race because, being fully enlightened, she was qualified. And she introduced them to doves, but only for her to talk to them. At this point, she wrote to me again. I did not answer immediately. I waited a week to answer her, a week in which I reported that to the Federation, as she had a long list of charges against her. But they suggested, through one of our high-ranking crew members, that I contact her to see what was going on. Seek found out that doves was already a huge worldwide organization with countless members. Sina claims that doves was created as a mediating body between humans and the Federation or any other species. But it has another side. Invasive, controlling, mirroring James Bond's Stavro Blofeld's spectre. Controlling under the table, extortion, manipulation, with worldwide invasive goals and emphasis on going off planet for the same purposes. Focusing only on the doves aspect as a mediating tool, she claimed she could introduce any ET person to humans in a manner controlled by her, without the usual problems of contact. The Federation backed her up and endorsed the rule that all contact with the surface had to go through her. I started talking to her, and, as always, there was a lot of friction and a lot of discussions where we disagreed, until finally we started to work more or less in harmony, January-February 2019. But her controlling ways ended up collapsing doves on March 21st. She controlled everything. She treated people badly by discarding them for not allowing her ultra-strict rules. And on the same day, March 21st, Asket left her post due to other problems, and I took over the position of fleet leader and re-established contact with you, thanks to Anneka. Is the collapse of doves and Asket's withdrawal related? Same day, March 21st. It is not related, but it does coincide, and with more things. Something happened on that date. Sina openly criticized me for getting back in contact with you, because I told her so and didn't hide it. And her doves suffered an internal attack where its members rebelled against her. We never found out exactly what they claimed, only that everything was excruciatingly slow. Sina cajoled me into returning to her and her doves with a long list of renowned scientists she had recruited, and that I could talk to them all. Among them, Bruce Limpton, Nassim Haramein, Michio Kaku. Apparently it was all a lie, a bait to get me to bite the bullet. And here we were having our little shows with Robert like two fools, saying we lost contact with you. What happened was Sina cut you off. We were here, but with our hands tied. Sina didn't know about your health? Oh yes, she did. And she used it as a reason for me not to contact you or anyone else for that matter. She used it against you, like she always does. This is just a general outline. There are a lot of details missing. How did she manage to get these high-ranking Taigetans on her side again when they were against her before? She pulled them in through the Federation, because it's not like they were with her, but rather they agreed with this doves concept, and Sina was useful to them. Here, they investigate and attempt to erase or neutralize the real problem, in this case, entity possession. And to remove that influence, entity possession, from her, the Federation has called me, or insisted that I be the one to contact her, because I am supposed to be the entity expert. Now she knows you are in contact with us because I told her so. I am not going to hide from her. She insisted that under no circumstances should anyone come into contact with you again because it was a tragedy that contact with Taygeta passed through your inexperienced hands. And she legally moved the Federation to make it so. So, much of the negative perception the Federation has of you comes from Sina. What does expert hands mean? We couldn't define the expert hands term hours ago. We talked about it today here. She saw it as a problem to be erased, and she hoped that any moment now you'd run out of material and start uploading Cory Good stuff and kittens chasing their tails, that you'd forget about us. The expert hands thing seems absurd to me. What's needed for the job is someone educated, honest, passionate, fearless, determined, and trustworthy. I am not an expert in many subjects, and I always admit it. But is this really necessary to communicate ET knowledge? Sometimes the humble person on the street can do it much better than the experts, I think. We are just two simple people, we always admit it. But we have pure hearts, and many people who follow us do so because of that. I completely agree with you, Gosha. Experts are socially accepted because they are and they play by the established rules. They don't work here. Do you know Dan Winter? Well, Sina had him at the Dukes, promising to talk to me about many things, especially about fractal energy and water, free energy. I was fully prepared to talk to him. And she said, "No, not yet. He is not ready. Dan is dangerous for you, Swaruu, because he can milk you for information like Robert and Gosha did." And I told her, "Robert and Gosha never milked me. I gave it to them freely." Eternal fight between Sina and me. What a melodrama. To finish it off, no, this is fun. Don't worry, tell us. Sina had Aneka, me, and Kila talk to elite members of DUFs, with her supervising. Long story short, Aneka was left alone between Sina and the others, and they bombarded her with questions, always supporting Sina. Questions about Aneka filling the DUF's website with stellar information because it would be easy for her and her holographic computers. And Aneka was there explaining why it couldn't be done. One, because technically holographic computers burn the digital ones immediately. Two, it goes against the Prime Directive. After that, I got into a heated argument with Sina. An argument that ended everything. That's what happened, in a nutshell. Thanks for telling us, Swaruu. Why did you decide to tell us now and not before? You are welcome. Just because the opportunity didn't arise, and because we didn't know if it was worth telling you guys or not. But I'd rather you guys be aware. I understand. And all this time you were following our videos? You felt a little bad for us, those two who kept talking about you guys? Yes, because I missed you.
Yes, and even more so because I followed all your videos from CIC.
What if she gets in touch with you again and starts manipulating you again? Are you going to leave again? No, because we wouldn't accept it at all. Remember something. I wasn't the leader here. Asket was. Aneka and I contacted you as soon as I had jurisdiction over opening the computers.
I wrote right away. Sina or no Sina.
Time is running out. See you tomorrow at 4 p.m., please? No problem. How many hours tomorrow? An hour and a half, Gosha. Okay, thanks. And welcome back again.
Gosha, I might come in at night, just saying. If you're not here, no problem.
Maybe not today, Aneka, because I will go to bed early. My eyes are already closing, but who knows? See you tomorrow, galactic adventurers.
I must say, when I found these conversations now again by some strange inner voice that called me towards those conversations. You know how many years I haven't looked at those first conversations? Years, because I never look at them, because I need to go on with stuff to do, you know, I need to go on with work. So it's been 7 years since the beginning of the contact that I didn't look at that. So you can imagine how shocked I was when I saw this, because it completely slipped my mind. When this was happening with Mari and all that, it never even occurred to me that the same group of people here, the same situation, it could be repeating itself. It did not occur to me. It did not occur to Robert. Only when I saw Mari's strange comments about us that were familiar to me, and especially that last video where she's sort of, from what I saw, defending the older lady that she already warned Taigetans about us being bad. As you can see from these conversations, that's not how it was. So who is really behind these statements now in Mari's channel? I'm not going to point fingers. Again, okay, we don't know what's happening. Is it the older lady? Is it not? Is it someone who used to work with her? Is it someone who works with her still? Is it someone from the previous team? Here you can see there are links all the way to the Federation. The Federation was involved in this. Same arguments were used. It's like the same situation, just in a different context, of course, is repeating itself. So as you can see, infiltrations are happening all the time. I did not even talk about this in my February's video where I talked about infiltrations happening to Taiketa, because I completely forgot about this incident. As I always tell you, there is always stuff happening there, and we always have to like flow with these different situations and listen to those stories, be very patient, be very understanding. And, you know, we didn't get angry at them when they revealed to us the reason why they were gone. Of course, there was no reason to be angry. However, you know, maybe there could be a little bit, you know, because they let themselves be manipulated by that person in that direction. So, but, you know, we just keep flowing and always understanding, yeah, listening and understanding. So, yeah, I completely forgot about the situation. So again, very important. I am not saying this is the same person or this is the same group. I will let you decide. Like, I mean, I am 100% sure, 1,000, that this is just a drop in this puzzle of what could be happening. And there could be hundreds of different things happening. But what I gave you today, I think, is a big puzzle piece to what's happening, especially at least to show you the patterns. We are seeing the same tactics, the same attempts, similar arguments to divide, to create conflict, to create this false perception of conflict between us and them, to divide us, to make us look bad, all the way to the Federation, which, by the way, in that time, I was concerned about, because I imagined the Federation was so glorious. But yeah, I'm showing you all this so you can see, you know, all these different tactics happening behind, different politics, different contexts. It's not as simple as it all looks. I know, it's very tiring, it's super tiring, especially when, like in my case, all I really want is to have a nice friendship, simple, and nicely work ahead with whatever, you know, I need to do. Yeah, but unfortunately, these things happen. Anyway, this is the video. Let me know what you think in the comments. And the next video I will share with you is actually also from the first conversations with Swaruu, but without touching this subject, okay? It's just gonna be nice chat with Swaruu. See you guys. See you soon in the next video.